Hello children, this is Zareen and this is a continuation video of nutrition video. So in this we are going to continue with our next topic. What we were discussing is heterotrophic mode of nutrition. So heterotrophic mode of nutrition means the nutrition in which the plant is not able to produce their own food and they are dependent on other plants for their food. So those plants not necessarily need that they should not have chlorophyll. Some plants do have chlorophyll, they do photosynthesis, but it still depends on other plants for some of the nutrients. So this is again categorized into four types: parasitic mode of nutrition, insectivorous mode of nutrition, saprophytic mode of nutrition, and symbiotic mode of nutrition. So parasitic mode of nutrition is nothing but in this plants depend on other animals or plants for their food, right? Such dependent plants are called parasites, and the one on which parasite depends are called host. So in this, what we will understand is in this, a plant depend on other plant or any other animal for their food. So the plant who is dependent are called parasites, and the ones on which parasite is depending are called host. So here we have an example of Cacintha and Cuscata and Mistloy. So in this example, we will see this Cuscata. Cuscata is, we will say in Hindi, it is Amarbel. This type of plant will grow on other plants. So these are the parasites and these are the host. So this Cuscata take its nutrition from the host plant, all the food. And this host plant doesn't get any benefit from the parasite, right? Sometimes they can even kill them. So other type of example are like Mr. Toy, which is here. These type of branches, these are the parasites, and this is the host plant. So next is in animal in animal example, if you see, it is hookworm, tapeworms. They are present inside our intestine. We'll see in the small children. So they'll grow and they will spoil the tummy of the child. So leeches, they will suck our blood. So these are the parasites. So in parasitic mode of nutrition, we will see that the plants are dependent on other plants or animals, and those dependent plants are called parasites, and the plants on whom parasites are dependent are called host. Example is Cuscatas, Jacintha, Toy. Next is insectivorous mode of nutrition. In this type of nutrition, plants purely depend on other insects or small animal for their nutrition. Means pitcher plant trap a small insect inside the pitcher, and insects are digested by the digestive juices secreted in the pitcher. Insectivorous plants grow in those soil which do not contain sufficient nitrogen mineral. So type of plants actually are green and carry out the photosynthesis, but they obtain some kind of food or some mineral or part of food. So mostly we'll see that these type of insectivorous plants are grown in places where there is nitrogen deficient mineral in the soil. The insectivorous mode of nutrition is shown by pitcher plant, Venus flytrap, Drosera, and bladderwort. So in this type of nutrition, what we will see that the plants depend on other insects and small and animals for their nutrition. So what happened? Typical example is pitcher plant or Venus flytrap, Drosera, or bladderwort. What happens? The insect or any animal, small animals, will sit inside the in the plant, and when they are taken inside the plant, it will have a lot of hairs or some adhesive substance will be there inside the like for example pitcher plant, we see digestive juices are there which will digest the insect, right? So we have next in this we have example is Venus flytrap, same like that. In this, if fly sits here, So they get trapped here and they won't be able to go away from the plant, and they will be digested immediately by the digestive juices. Sundew and bladderwort are also few of the examples. Next is we have saprotrophs. In this mode of nutrition, in which organism or plant that obtain their nutrition from dead and decaying organic matter, right? So in this mode of nutrition, what happened? The organisms or plant, they take their nutrition from dead and decaying organic matter, and the plants which show such type of nutrition are called saprotrophs. They actually secrete the digestive juices on the dead and decaying matter to dissolve it and absorb the nutrients from it. So example are Indian pine. This is the example: mushroom, coral root, molds, yeast, and few of the bacteria. So in this type of nutrition, what we see is organism grow on dead and decaying part. So this is the dead and decaying plant where in this Indian pine grows. And what they do is they secrete the digestive juices in which on this, and the what happens when they secrete the digestive juices, these things will start decaying, dissolving, and they will take the nutrients from it. Example is Indian pine, mushroom, molds, coral root. So next is we have symbiotic plants. In this mode of nutrition, there is a close association between two different plants of different categories. So any two plants, when they show a close association, mutual coordination is there, wherein both the plants are getting benefited. We call it as symbiotic relationship. Symbiosis process is called, and symbiotic relationship exhibits. So here we will see the fungi live in the root of the trees. Here in Rhizobium we'll see. And in this case, the tree provides the nutrient to fungi, and in return, it takes the water and nutrient from the soil. So fungi is taking nutrient from the plant. So in this example, we have next is lichens, wherein lichens is a kind of symbiotic relationship between fungus and algae, wherein algae will give food to the lichens, and lichens will help algae to grow in harsh conditions. Otherwise, wherein this algae will not survive, right? So two examples we have seen here is of symbiosis, is of lichens and rhizobium. So next is how these nutrients are replenished in the soil. So we have seen again and again the plants is observing all these nutrients from the soil. So what farmers do, they will use the fertilizers and manures to replenish the soil with nutrients. So continuously, because the nutrients from the soil is again and again taken up by the plants to make food, the nutrients in the soil is decreasing, which is replenished by the farmers by using fertilizers and manures. And these fertilizers and manures contain nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium. So another natural way to replenish is soil with these nutrients is by growing leguminous crops like gram, peas, pulses in the soil. What happens? The bacteria called Rhizobium is present inside these leguminous crops, and they take the atmospheric nitrogen and convert it into soluble form. And what happens by this? The nutrient is absorbed by these bacteria in the soil, and these rhizobium in return take the food from these leguminous plant like gram peas. So what happened? This is a kind of plants and bacteria's symbiotic relationship, wherein the bacteria rhizobium is fixing the nitrogen from the air and giving in the soil, wherein from the soil these plants are able to take the absorb the nitrogen, and in return they are getting the food from the plant, leguminous plant. So just we will discuss what are the four types of heterotrophic nutrition we have learned so far. So we have four types of heterotrophic nutrition. First is parasitic. Parasitic nutrition, in which in this type of nutrition the plant is dependent on other plants or animals for their nourishment. So one, the who are dependent are called parasites, and other one who is holding the parasites are called host. Example is cuscata, misteloi. Next is insectivorous mode of nutrition. In this mode of nutrition, the plant is purely dependent on other insect and small animals for their nutrition. Actually, these type of in this mode of nutrition, the plant are doing photosynthesis, but they need a specific type of nutrient, so mostly nitrogen. For this, what they do is they attack and they trap the small insects or animals inside them, and they take the nutrient from their body by digesting them. Example is pitcher plant, Venus flytrap, Drosera, and bladderwort. So we have seen these four examples. Next is saprotrophs. In this mode of nutrition, the organisms take their nutrition from dead and decaying organic matter. So example is Indian pine, coral root, moss, mushrooms, yeast, and some of the bacteria. So next is the symbiotic plants. In this, there is a close correlation between the two plants, wherein one plant, both are benefited to each other. So one plant, so here we will take the example of lichens and rhizobium, wherein lichens being a fungus, it provides the habitat for the algae, and algae in return gives food to the lichens. And same way rhizobium is also a symbiotic relationship, wherein rhizobium live with all the leguminous plant, wherein it fixes the nitrogen and give in the soil to the plant, and plant will give it the nutrition. So in this, by this we will come to the end of this lesson, nutrition in plants. Thank you.